So in this video, we're going to go over how my dad, a retired woodworker, made the original Princess wheels. We were going to have the Amish make these originally, but he did such a good job, and he spent a lot of time making jigs and fixtures for this. I thought a lot of people would like it. Here's the 3 that he already made. You can see he did a great job. They look just like the original. And we're going to go over and see how he makes that 4th one. And then here's even the nice original tires he got for it. So let's go ahead and start this video. So here's the man, Richard Logan, right here. It's my dad. What he did was he went to a sawmill. He got white oak, and then he cut it into these thin strips. And originally, these would have been steam bent on the original wheel. So what he's doing, he's making the outer part of the wheel where the spokes are fastened, this part. And it looks like these are solid pieces that were steam bent and joined together. And he decided to do it a different way, and he made this fixture, which I'll show what he does with this in a minute. But right now, he's just gonna go ahead and he's gonna laminate these together by putting this glue, applying the glue, and then he's gonna put it in this fixture, and then he has this strap which will bend it down. It's actually quite ingenious, and it works very well. Here he's applying the last little bit of glue to the last part that he's gonna place on here. And he pre-bent these so it kind of looks like a leaf spring all layered up. But what he did was after he cut these in the bandsaw, he placed them in this jig and cranked it down and let it sit for a few days. So when he does the final crank on this with all the adhesive on there, it's not gonna crack. And then there he is, placing it in the fixture. And he put this aluminum band in here to help put even pressure on it as he cranks it down. And this is just a boat winch.
Okay,
Now that he has this strap down, he's using clamps to just give it that extra squeeze, and you can really see the adhesive bleeding out of the cracks here. So he's getting lots of pressure on there, and that's what creates it a good laminated piece. Here it is fully clamped. And what he did was he overbent it a little bit, and these are actually longer than it should be because there's 2 halves. And what he's gonna do is he's gonna cut the 2 halves to fit and make a perfect circle.
all the holes for the dowels going into the spokes have been marked out, and now we drill for clearance for the dowels. We're going to end bore the spokes instead of having a chuck end on it, so we can use dowels to assemble the wheel. To guarantee the center of the wheel, I cut an exact template insert on the CNC that inserts right into the inner size of the rim. And then all the spokes were sized off of that to match the rim. We have leveled out the rims on the CNC. They were trimmed to the right length by using the reference marks on the CNC made fixture, and then they were clamped and put together with screws temporarily. Also now we had to take the actual spokes and individually fit each spoke into the proper spot. To start assembly, the rim halves are clamped into the fixture, and then we're going to glue and dowel the ends. The spokes are secured to the rim by gluing dowels. The next step is to heat shrink the steel rim onto the wooden wheel. And the wooden wheel needs to be about an 1/8 inch larger than the actual diameter, the inside circumference of the steel rim. So first of all, we have to measure the steel rim. The little device we made up, circumference measuring. And then what I did was make a wooden fixture on the CNC of the right diameter, and then we can mount that directly using the center post onto the wooden actual wheel. We'll then use a router to follow with a following bit to follow around and trim the wheel to the correct size. Now, using a router with a pilot bit, we're going to trim the wheel to diameter of the actual fixture that was cut on the CNC. We apply a finish using marine spar varnish. So what we've done here is rigged up the wooden wheel on a fixture that allows for the proper overlap on the steel wheel, which is 1/2 inch here, and made sure that it was secure. Over here we have a fixture with 2 propane torches and the actual steel rim mounted on a turntable.
And what that's going to do, it's going to heat it up right evenly so you can press the steel wheel onto your wooden wheel. Right, Dad?
Yeah, that's correct.
So he made that so it's going to expand the metal, and we're going to press it down, and then it's going to, that's the specified depth. So let's get ahead and heat this up.
Well, we managed to get the rim on. This one was a little more of a fight than the other ones. No explanation other than the fact that the first three were all done earlier in the spring, and now it's the fall, and I'm finally getting around to doing the second one. No idea. It seemed to be a little tighter and a bit of a battle. So what we've done, we've cleaned up the hubs. They will insert in. Our next step is to drill the holes for the bolts and to bolt it together. We'll then make the aluminum or the brass plates for the cover joints, and that will be ready for the tire.
All right, my dad got all the wheels made, took the tires up, and had the guys at the tire shop put it on. Look at that. He's got the brass plate that goes over where the rim joins, a nice extender here coming through, and the way he finished this up just looks great. And I love the way these look beefier than I thought they would with the rubber on there. So let's go ahead and we'll grease these bearings, put them on, hook up the brakes, and we'll see how they look on the car. All right, guys, today is the day it has finally arrived that we get to drive our 1914 Princess. My dad finished up the wheels. He made these from scratch. The other ones were rotted out and they needed replacing, and I'm just really impressed at how they turned out and his craftsmanship with the white oak. They look absolutely original. Mounted them to a nice Croker tire of the era. We were gonna go with white, but we did the black, and I'm just really happy with the results. All four wheels spin true, and this car actually runs and will drive now. So now that we've got it on some rubber, we can drive it. I actually already drove it a little bit earlier, and I gotta say we had it up to about 35, and it's pretty sweet. So let's do a little walk around and check out this 1914 Princess for you guys to see. This car was made in Detroit. It's one of 3 left known in the world. It was owned by a gentleman named Bernie Pollard, who saved a lot of brass era cars, and during World War II the government wanted to crush him for the war effort. He ended up going down to Congress, and they allowed him to keep it because he argued that we're going to lose American history without it. So thanks to him, we have this car here with us today, and not crushed. Got a nice little trunk. All the wood that it's made with is all solid, which is pretty rare for a lot of these old cars that I get. This will be rotted out, and it's a nightmare to try to figure out, and one of 3 in the world. Even though it's rather simple, you'll be spending a lot of time on that. So body's nice and solid. Everything was solid but the wheels. We have all the bows. We actually have a boot cover for this thing in the trunk there. All the original mats. The interiors are all original too. It's just over 100 years old, and the fact that it's here and it's running, absolutely incredible. So even the wheel, like, it must have been stored in a pretty good spot, because a lot of these will delaminate as they're exposed to moisture and stuff, and the fact that it's just doesn't even look really worn. So this has a little Mastic Phillips 4-cylinder engine in here. No battery, runs with a magneto. The wiring harness pretty much just consists of 2 wires for breaking the ground of the magneto to turn it on and off. It's got little primer cups in here that you can fill up with fuel when you're hand cranking it. Yeah, pretty sweet. It's got a Holley carburetor on it, made it all brass and bronze. So this thing runs like a top. I'll go ahead and I'll fire it up and take it for a ride.
Put this down really.